Welcome, listeners, to Crossing Borders, a podcast not about immigration. I am your host, Josh, also known as Mythic, and this is my co host, Sid, also known as Squidney. Grab your passports and join us for episode 2, where we'll be talking about education across borders. But first, let's catch up with each other's week. So, Squidney, anything interesting happening to you this week?
Well, now that you mention it, I thought I would bring this up. Since we do this every episode, obviously one plans ahead. So this week, me and my siblings decided to do a role-playing game campaign using a system called Starfinder. So it's like space, like lasers and spaceships and things like that.
Interesting.
And I'm going to be the GM, and I've never done that before. So I needed stuff. I needed gear. I needed the goodies. Yeah. So I hopped online.
Yep.
Yeah, I hopped online. Spent like an hour looking at battle mats and board things and stuff. And I ordered a standard grid battle map with a hexagon grid on the other side because it's fancy, and some wet erase markers for that. But then I was met with the dilemma. What should I buy for tokens or the miniatures, the minifigures, to represent the players and the enemies?
Yep.
And I thought about this for a while. For I knew that minifigures often aren't cheap.
Yes, clearly.
Or at least in the quantity I want them. I wanted quite a few. That way I'd have enough for any encounter, and I would have enough for any situation, just in general. And I didn't want to have to go like, oh, I have this goblin piece, but I don't have a zombie piece, so I'm just going to use this goblin and pretend it's a zombie, And then I found the solution, the holy grail, so to speak, of minifigures. I found a set of 220 little resin ducks that are about 0.6 inches long. They're these little ducks. They come in 11 different colors. And I ordered them earlier in the week, and they actually arrived today. And so now I got a little Ziploc bag that's full of 220 little resin plastic ducks, and it's labeled monsters. And it's just sitting on my desk over there.
Okay. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
So, have you played using it or?
Not yet. The battle mat hasn't arrived yet, so we haven't done our first session. But when it does, things will be interesting. Instead of like a zombie, imagine like instead of a zombie, there's just like a green duck, and it's just like the zombie snarls at you. It's the most hideous, gruesome thing you've ever seen, and you look at the board, and there's just a little duck there. It's like a little thing. It's so cute.
If I was your sibling, I would be trying my best not to laugh because I want to appreciate the effort my brother or little brother has gone through to make this happen.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's pretty interesting. Interesting week, I shall say. So
the markers also came today, if you were wondering.
Nice.
What about you?
All right, me. My week has been quite interesting, actually. Since last week the appliance of AC broke.
The space aliens from the AC.
Yeah. Definitely sold them to the government. Yep, they're all now in Area 51. We're good.
Yeah.
In terms
the Indonesian version.
Another appliance broke, which was actually our water container. I don't know how it works in the US because I know like you can drink out of tap water and it's like you probably take a bath with the same water, but here we have different types of water because you buy bottled and basically like 20 gallons of water just in one go, and then just spend that gallon for like the whole week. Not maybe like 3 days, not a week, but yeah. And then we have a different water again for like cooking, and then a different water that's used, basically the tap water, which we use for for bath and for washing plates and stuff like that.
Okay.
And our main like water container for the our like bath water and washing water, basically our dirty water, which we kept like on our roof. We have like a big container tank thing that's orange colored. If you're in Indonesian, anyone hearing this, you know what I'm talking about. It's a big orange tank of just water. If you look inside, it's hideous, but water comes out clean, so who cares?
Yeah.
The thing broke. It's like there's a valve, right?
Yeah.
A valve where it has like a sort of like a small balloon inside it. So every time the water rises up and it's almost full, this balloon will cover up the valve and basically shut off the main water pump from the like central water system of the government to our home, basically. And that thing broke, so it wasn't closing, which means water was leaking out, literally bursting out of the big container down our roof, and it was just making our water bills skyrockets, which is not good. So we tried to fix it. We like bought like a new balloon for it, because when we took out the balloon, it was hideous. It was covered in moss and literal grime, slime, blackness. It was actually disgusting to look at, and it was like the moss had dried, so you can literally scrape it off. But then underneath are the wet moss. So it's like a whole alien thing again that I pulled out of that tank.
So you're saying that aliens have taken over your entire home? Every water source is just, there's aliens everywhere.
I think so, yeah.
Oh.
Clearly. Because it was so gnarly to look at. I was like, I tried to not puke because it looks disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
Well, I would imagine.
When I pulled that balloon out of there. And then we were on like a time limit to fix the water tank thing, right? Because, people at the house need to use water, obviously. So we need to fix it as fast as we could. And then the thing was, we bought the wrong valve.
Oh no!
To the broken valve, because the broken valve was so covered in grime, it was basically not working anymore. And we tried to use like like the wrench to just pull it off, and it wasn't working because it was the moss made it very slippery. But then we tried. After a couple of tries, finally we managed to plug it off. But we realized that the pipe going into the container was like L shaped, and we were hoping that it was a straight, so we can just plug the valve in. And we couldn't do that because it was L shaped. So it was a whole other mess. Took us like maybe like 2 hours to finally fix the water tank, and then it works. Finally got a clean balloon and a clean valve attached to the dirty pipe, and no one will see that dirty pipe, so it doesn't exist. If you don't see it, it doesn't exist. So it's working now. We can take a bath now. We can wash our plates. It's clean water, I guess, and it works. It's great. It's wonderful. And luckily we finished that right as the wind started to blow, and then water started pouring down from the sky. So it was. We were quite grateful. And then a couple days prior to that water thing breaking, we had this monthly. I mean, not monthly, like 2 months. Every 2 months, the government, or like most people, like requested the government around our area to have like a pesticide day, basically. So they just spray pesticide. It's basically this white smoke.
Yeah, to kill all the mosquitoes and stuff.
Mosquitoes, and then cockroaches, spiders, basically all the things, including like some hornets and stuff like that. Just to cut it off, because mosquito gets crazy here. If you're living in Indonesia, you would hate mosquitoes as much as you hate cockroaches, as much as you hate spiders, because they are so annoying, making you scratch your leg, scratch every part of your body, because they just keep biting and biting and biting and biting. Oh, it's so annoying.
I I hate mosquitoes more than cockroaches or spiders. Of course, there's no cockroaches where I live, and spiders aren't super big where I live. I mean, they can get decent size, but mosquitoes are always
I
annoying
hate.
everywhere.
I mean, I hate mosquitoes too, but I still hate cockroaches way more. In terms of like, at least a mosquito I can just clap and it's dead as long as I have sniper aim.
You can't do that with cockroaches.
You slap it. You slap it with a sandal. You know sandals, right?
Yeah.
Slap with the sandal. You lift the sandal. It flies away. What do you mean? It's supposed to be dead.
I mean, whenever I get smacked with a sandal, I also die.
Yeah, it's like, okay, the smoke is coming out from like this guy who like is wearing a hazmat suit. He's like, just blowing all the smoke. So we basically have to open our doors and windows so like the smoke comes in and kills the stuff inside. Well, the thing is, it's not an insta kill, right? So all the bugs at our home just goes like, oh no, we gotta get out of our hidey holes, which means at the time I was taking a bath, you see.
Oh no.
And comes out from every single hole in the bathroom. This like, at least if you open your palm, the cockroach was at least your inner palm size, right?
Yeah.
They were huge. A lot of those came out of the like drainage hole, the toilet, the the ventilation system, and then the not counting the small ones, you see, those like tiny cockroaches babies, all of them just came crawling out of all the holes, and I was like, because you see, no matter how strong you are, everyone hates cockroaches here. Like a whole class of like me and the boys at school, like back in the day. Yeah. One cockroach appears, we all ran away. That thing is scary. Or like at least when it's on the ground, we're like gangster. But when it flies, now we gotta go. We gotta go flee out of there. I think that's even a meme of it, like everybody gangster until the cockroach flies. Like
everybody gangster until the cockroach flying.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Like, I was trapped, right? Because I was thinking, I couldn't just like walk out there while I had some soap on my hair or something. And I was like, whoa! I was like basically screaming, using my shower to shoo away the cockroaches. It's like oh no, it was horrible. It was horrible.
Oh, that sounds so funny. Not for you, of course, but for me listening to it.
Well, it was horrible. It was scarier than any horror game, to be honest. I'm just telling you. My heart was pumping so hard.
I would hate that so much.
Go away! Go away! Yeah. Anyways, I managed to survive that encounter. I survived the boss fight, and I
can tell.
Successfully escaped the abyss that is my bathroom. And my house is in chaos, right? Because there's a lot of insects everywhere, basically. And my other family members were like, help us kill the cockroaches, please. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, hold on. It's like, so my sibling has a job to kill the cockroaches at the front bathroom, and I have the job to kill the cockroach at the back bathroom, right? And one other person has to kill the cockroaches that comes out like in our driveway. Because,
you're all at strategic positions around the house.
It's like a whole multiplayer boss fight killing dungeon crawling thing. It was not amazing. I was about to say that, but it was not amazing. It was horrible. It was because we didn't. We used to use like these cockroach swatters, which aren't usually just fly swatters. We just used to smack cockroaches. But if we use that, it would literally crack and break because there was so much of them.
Oh my gosh, that's.
We just took a sandal out of the outside and just smack on the floor. If it's on the wall, we throw the sandal at the cockroach and it dies. Hopefully it doesn't fly. Splattered the thing on the wall and then there's like it was. Let me just tell you. After the pest control, whatever that is, our whole house smelled like cockroach junk, stink. It was not very nice.
I'm just imagining, like, everyone's just chilling. Some of y'all just sitting there on a chair. You're in the bathtub, of course, and then.
Oh, we don't have any bathtub here. Bathtubs for bathtubs for rich people. Yeah, I'm sorry.
They're like, okay, soldiers, gather up. Today is roach killing day. Okay, you're gonna be standing by the front door. Make sure none live. Okay, show no mercy, no quarter. You're in the back. You get a broom. That won't help you, but it'll make you feel better. And you get to deal with the flying ones. And then our person's like, and then they start crying. And then,
it's like because no one likes cockroaches here, right? So every couple seconds you hear screams, "Ah! Ah! Ah! Ah!" like that, because someone at the front is screaming, someone in the front bathroom is screaming, I'm in the back bathroom screaming every time a cockroach tries to fly, and I'm just like, smack, smack. It's like whack-a-mole on crack, to be honest. It was insane. And you're like trying to get them away from you, but like you want to kill them, so you have to like get close to them, right? Which means some of them might just land on your feet, and you
or in your face.
Had to. Oh, I was wearing a helmet at that point.
I had 3 bags over my head.
It was so like, to be honest. At the time of this recording, tomorrow I have a video releasing, a special of just me screaming at horror games, and this was so much scarier than that. So much scarier. I had sweat running down. I was shivering. I was screaming every second. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's been a crazy week.
So, you know what this means?
Yes.
Next time they do the whole pesticide thing, you figure out when it is beforehand, and then just make sure you are not in the bathroom when it happens. Whatever
Agreed.
You do.
I should. Definitely not. I'm not going to be in there, stuck in a boss fight while I'm like in a beginner attire, you know what I mean?
Level 0, I guess, a level 20 boss.
Oh, right. Yeah, that was interesting. So I think we should just move on to the episode, I guess.
Yeah, we can talk about bugs in another episode. The same one we talk about aliens.
Definitely. Oh, that was such a fun topic. Oh, we took 20 minutes talking about that? That was amazing.
Yeah. First 20 minutes, I spent 5 minutes talking, oh yeah, I got these little rubber ducks, and then you're like, there was a war in my house. I barely survived.
That's true. That's so true. My gosh. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yep. Anyways, we're talking about education today, everybody.
Education.
Hooray! So what's it like being in a school? Like, let's talk like when you're, starting out. You just first day in school. What do you learn?
First day. So we're starting like first day ever in school, right?
Like ever.
Okay. First day ever in school. It would be kindergarten, which is essentially 0th grade.
Yes, that is correct.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
In kindergarten, you show up and I don't remember. I that was a long time ago. Let's see. I think you show up and they start teaching you like, here is how you add 1 and 2, and you get 3, and everyone's mind blown. They're like, 1 cookie, and then you get 2 more cookies, and now you have 3 cookies. Oh my gosh! I'm a genius.
It was amazing.
The world is at my footstep. I'm unstoppable with this knowledge. And then they start teaching you about what they call takeaways, or once you reach first grade, they start calling it subtraction. But takeaways is obviously the superior name. Good old days.
Takeaways. Interesting.
Takeaways.
You can remove stuff? What?
Whoa. If I have 3 cookies and I take 1 away, I'm suddenly at 2 cookies? The horrors. The terrors. Ooh.
Scary.
But yeah, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, except it might be Monday through Thursday now. A lot of schools near my area have been going to 4 days a week, which was nice. 3-day weekends. Ooh, delicious.
What?
Yeah.
Excuse
3-day
me?
weekends.
3-day weekends?
Yeah.
Okay.
You wake up at 7
Wait,
for school, get home by 4.
till now, until high school, or was it just kindergarten?
So I think a lot of places have shorter days for kindergarten, but first grade on, it's essentially the same length.
Yeah, okay.
But
5 days a week, right?
yeah, growing up through elementary school and middle school, it was always 5 days a week. Always Monday through Friday. Saturday you get off. Sunday you get off.
So essentially, on kindergarten, you just learn basic math and you go home. That's it.
It's more of a intro to school kind of thing than anything.
I see.
But then, like halfway through high school, the high school is like, you know what? We're gonna try a 4-day weekend. I mean, not 4-day weekend, 4-day week. 4-day weekend would have been awesome. So then they dropped Fridays, and then it was Monday through Thursday, and something I don't remember. I think it started about 2020 actually, when they were like, wait, we don't need to have them here 5 days a week. I think that actually might be the reason. They were like, wait, hold up. Yeah. We did a really weird thing during COVID too. When COVID first hit, obviously we shut down in March. Everyone went home, and then they were like, hey, the rest of the assignments this year, you can do them if you want, but your grade will not go down if you don't do them, but it will go up if you do them. And everybody's like, well, I guess school's over early this year. Yay.
Oh, wow.
And then the next year we had like mixed learning, I think is what they called it. I honestly don't remember because I didn't really pay attention that entire year. I passed everything.
Well, clearly.
Yeah. I was kind of like a little. It was lockdown. Everyone went through their things. I just did whatever and didn't think about anything. So they did something akin to one of my least favorite kind of schedules. I hate A-B day schedules, which is what it's called when on Monday you have these classes, then on Tuesday you have these classes, and on Wednesday you have the first classes again that you had on Monday, the A schedule, and then on Thursday you'd have the B schedule again like you had on Tuesday. And then when Friday rolls around, you have some unholy combination of the two. Having all your classes in one day is way better. You cannot change my mind.
Whoa! I see. So how many, like, in terms of like elementary school, if we're talking elementary school, because kindergarten doesn't count, you just come there, go home, probably don't learn anything. Elementary, how many subjects were there?
So in elementary, I don't know how they do it over there in Indonesia, but it's different from how we do it here in middle school and high school.
Oh, by the way, listeners, I think we forgot to say this, but Sydney here is from America. I'm from Indonesia. So we have very different, very, very different, education systems.
Yeah.
Forgot to mention that, but it's okay.
Yeah.
We're in the middle anyway. All right. Please continue, good sir.
Yeah. Where was I? Oh, yes. Elementary school. So essentially the way it worked, and I'm pretty sure this is a normal thing, but I went to a charter school, which is like a school, but a little bit weird. It's not a public school. It's like half public, half private. And we had to wear polo shirts all the time, and I hated it. But that's beside the point. We had one teacher. We had to wear polo shirts.
Oh.
Yeah, we had a dress code where we had to wear polo shirts every day. At least the guys had to wear polo shirts every day and khaki pants every day, so we looked presentable. And then the girls were essentially the same, but like skirts and dresses were also allowed, I guess. And then there were jean days, but I'll talk about those later. Just remind me. And
All
that was
right.
just my school, the Gene Days. That's not a normal thing. But anyways, we had one teacher, for example, I'll just make up a name, Miss Berkscombe Hammond. So let's say our teacher's
Okay.
Miss
Miss.
Berkscombe Hammond, because that's a funny name, I think,
Right.
and I just made it up. Oh, also, if your last name is Berkscombe Hammond, then comment down below and leave a like because you are elect among the individuals to have such an eloquent name. But that's beside the point.
Agreed.
So essentially, through the day, Miss Berkscombe Hammond would go like, "Okay, guys, it's time for math," and then she would start teaching us math, and then she would start teaching us science later on or something. So we typically had maths, science, social studies.
So,
Uh,
one teacher for everything. Are you saying?
yeah, during elementary school, but during middle school and high school, it
I
was
see.
teachers were per subject.
I
Um,
see. I see. Okay. So
and
wait.
then we also had
Let's
music.
count. How many was it?
Uh,
Sorry. Music.
so music class, which was funny. We just went and sang, which probably sounded horrible, and played recorders sometimes. Um,
Okay.
we did have a different. We had a dedicated music teacher though, and a PE teacher. So there was PE, music, science, social studies,
Mm-hmm.
and math,
4,
and
5.
I swear there was another one. Oh, it's Spanish as well,
English.
and
Oh,
reading and
Spanish.
English.
6.
So
So 7. 7
seven.
subjects.
Yeah.
That sounds very nice. Okay. S- forward.
Okay. And so English is just it's an English class. It's like, okay, guys, we're gonna learn how to use punctuation today, and we're gonna learn about it for the rest of your lives because you're never gonna get it right, because you're elementary schoolers.
Clearly.
And then they're like, okay, now we're gonna learn about science. Who likes rocks? Nobody? Oh well, that's what we're talking about for the next month. This is a igneous rock. Here's a metamorphic rock. Here's a sedimentary rock. And then there's social studies, which was a combination of history and actually it was just history. So why didn't they just call it history? I don't know, social studies. Um,
Okay.
so they're like, hey, we're gonna learn about my boy Benjamin Franklin today. Um,
Clearly, big man.
and then music, we would leave our class, go all the way to the different class, and we would stand on the
Uh-huh.
risers and sing songs about birds and do stupid warm-ups. And I actually might remember some of the warm-ups if I think about it hard enough. Let's see. There's one about elephants having wrinkles. To warm up, we would sing the Elephants Have Wrinkles song. It was one of those songs that's essentially the same every time. Like you sing it like different verses, and essentially it's the same every
I
time. They
see.
just change like one little thing. So it's like elephants have wrinkles, wrinkles, wrinkles. Elephants have wrinkles, wrinkles everywhere. On their knees, on their knees, on their teeth, on their teeth, on their nose, and then you would list all the previous ones you sang. And it was like my, and it was long and it would be really annoying to me today,
Oh,
but back then it was fine.
I. I like that. That was funny. All right.
Oh, there's also one about jelly beans, but I'll
Oh,
spare you the
jelly
pain.
beans. We love jelly beans.
Oh, actually, here can I remember
Thank you so
one?
much for sparing me from the pain.
There's PE, which essentially we just run laps and do push-ups, and uh, that was it. And then there's like one more class, Spanish. Oh yeah, every year she taught the same thing, which was funny. So I know that red is rojo,
Did you get better
so
grades as it goes on, or just
I honestly don't even remember if we had grades. I knew we had report cards, but I never knew what my grades were. uh,
oh?
but yeah,
Okay.
what about you? What was elementary or younger years school like for you?
Okay. I guess yeah, we can do it like this. So for me, at least we have pre-kindergarten, you see, which is really interesting because
Three kindergartens.
most parents here, usually both parents actually work. but some are just like the dads work and the mothers at home. For people who are usually like mostly working, they go to their children usually go to this called play groups, which is basically like you send your kid to this place, right, where they just play. That's it. There's these caretakers who like guard them, so like they don't do crazy stuff. But essentially, you're paying someone to watch your kid play. That's it. That's basically it.
We have those here too. It's called a daycare here, though.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, I never went to one though because my mom stayed at home. So.
I never went to one as well. Wait, did I went to one? I'm not sure. Actually, I think I went to one. Never mind. I won't remember. I won't say the place's name, but it was like the front letter was E. Maybe someone knows what I'm talking about. But they would handle these from time to time. They would handle these like sort of events where we we're literally children, just playing there. Sometimes they would hold these events where we would wear costumes and then like do these very simple like dance moves of just like moving left and right basically. But we would invite the parents to watch, right? And
that's cute.
It's just like I'm not quite sure what was the point of that, but maybe it's for like, I don't know, wholesomeness or something. But
it was for wholesomeness.
I remember a very distinct memory of me wearing a red sort of vest. Underneath was like a yellow long sleeve T-shirt, and I don't remember what I was doing exactly, but I remember wearing that specific clothes for that event in the playgroup, or daycare to say. That's about it in terms of playgroup, and then we move on to kindergarten, which is one of the best times of my life, to be honest, because first of all, my schedule was pretty simple. I woke up at 8, as you do, 8 a.m. in the morning, and then take a bath, and then eat some breakfast, and then head for kindergarten, which was starting at around 9:30 a.m. Right? So started at 9:30 a.m. Finished at around 12, and I go home, do my simple homework of writing capital letters and lowercase letters. Repeatedly, and then I play for a whole day. That's it. That's about kindergarten, I guess, which was a lot of fun because maybe it was a bad memory because the first time I went there, I was so afraid to like be separated from my parents, right? So I remember crying, but after that, I just had fun, I guess.
My first day at kindergarten.
So 9:30. Yeah.
My first day at kindergarten, my parents dropped me off, and I also cried, and I chased after the car too, and the teacher had to chase me down and go like, "Hey, we don't run after cars." I'm like, that doesn't make any sense, and it kind of still doesn't make much sense, but I see now that there's no point to chasing cars because I'm not fast.
Clearly. I didn't chase over the motorcycle I was on when I was brought to the kindergarten, but I remember I cried, was upset for a little bit, but and then you meet your friends and get to know each other.
I forget about 5 minutes later.
There, but and forget about 5 minutes later, exactly. And I remember the last one was like we were studying in kindergarten. I remember that, like we were learning basic lettering. But we started learning Mandarin, and you know how hard Mandarin is, you see? I remember we started learning literal Hanchi, which is basically the weird-looking letters in Mandarin. And anyone who've learned Mandarin must know, or like will feel my pain, because it's very hard. It's a hard language to learn, right? Because, for example, if I want to say me or like I, it's like wo or like W and O. But then there's like 4 different ways of saying wo. It's like wo, 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 wo. It's like there's like different, and all those mean different things. And I was like,
what is this?
Are we old enough to learn this? Like, sure, but okay. I'm not saying I didn't listen to the teacher and just played around with my hair. Anyway, I totally
Never
listened
do
to the
that.
teacher and was not playing with my toys in my pocket.
Of
and
course.
listened to every single thing the teacher said. Yep. And then
Yeah.
we learned computer, which, surprise, surprise, most kids couldn't use computer at that young age. They brought us to this like computer lab, but it was more like padded computer rooms, just in case anyone bumped their head or bumped their feet or anything.
Yeah.
And I remember it wasn't really learning computer. It was just like, hey, here's a computer. Go play some games. Bye-bye. All right, 1 hour, done. Now you go back to your class. It was an interesting period. Like,
interesting.
It was not like crazy games or anything. It was like, like those education games, just like Dora or something,
Yeah.
Oh, do you see the fox? I see the fox, so click on the fox or something like that. But it was called Bobby Bola, if you know Bobby Bola. If any Indonesian viewers here, you might know Bobby Bola. That's, if you know, then you're a 2000s kid. And if you don't know, shame on you.
I
Bobby
don't
Bola
know.
in English is, shame on you then. Bobby Bola in English is basically translated to Bobby the Ball.
Bobby the Ball.
So it was basically Bobby, which was a talking ball, helping you learn about stuff around the world using computer, I guess. Which was, now that I think about it, it was a pretty boring game. But then again, it was for education, right?
And I was a kid, so I was entertained by rocks. So that was another level.
Yeah, that was. Yep. And then we would learn like, I remember this. We learned English, right? Because English isn't our, well, clearly it wasn't our main language. We speak Indonesian, and we learned Indonesian as well, but we learned more deep in terms of like the basics of English, because like we were trying to prepare for elementary, which has harder English and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Tenses, all the jibbity jabbity stuff. And then we would learn math, which, let me just tell you guys, my math wasn't great, but addition, subtraction, that's about it, I think. Just like
basic math.
5 minus 4 is 1, and I was like, whoa, that's possible? How's that possible? And
Whoa.
like, 3 plus
My
7
brain's imploding.
is 10. And then you can use your fingers to count. And I was like, whoa, my fingers can count? What? That's insane.
Thought I could only use my fingers to poke people in the eye. What is this? Witchcraft.
Yeah. And I remember this session, since this was like 9:30 a.m. to like 12 p.m. in terms of like us being on there before we go home. So we have one session of lesson and then one session of break where we just, played with the toys that were, prepared in the classroom. And then another session of lesson, whether it's like physical activities or the weird computer session or the math stuff. Per day, it's just like 2 sessions of lesson. And then we eat lunch at school for some reason, which, I could have like submitted a feedback to just, after lesson go home so I can eat lunch at home. But they were like, no, we're eating lunch here and then you go home, which was a weird
Is it not normal to eat lunch at school?
No. I mean, like, if we're just eating lunch and then we go home, why not just go home and then eat lunch at home? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what
you're saying. Why give a break time to eat lunch at school to just then go home? Why not just
that is
go home quicker and then eat lunch at home? It was.
We're gonna run around.
It was weird.
Right,
but then again, I was going to. And mostly kindergartens are mostly private owned. The public owned, government owned stuff is usually just elementary to high school. So mostly kindergartens are private owned. And the one I go to here, they had this weird system of the lunch before you go home, right? And I was a slow eater. A kid's meal, right? It's not a lot.
No, it's not.
It would take me an hour to finish my meal. It was that's no exaggeration, by the way. I literally took an hour to finish it. The break time was like 20 minutes. So most kids finish at like 30, even though it's past the time, and like the teachers don't really care. They're just like, okay, it's okay. You just eat slowly. Just don't choke, I guess. And 30 minutes is fine. And I have I have so many distinct memories of just me alone in a dark class, waiting for, like, maybe not the teachers can turn off like parts of the light, but not most of it. Just like the lights that show me and my food, I guess, because most of the class is just dark, and so just sitting there alone eating while the teachers like handling the other kids go home. I was just there eating for another hour, which is kind of sad. But then again, I was a slow eater, so yeah.
I'm still surprised you managed to stretch a meal out an entire hour.
Here's the thing, though. I brought this habit till I was elementary, at least grade 4, which was a long time to be eating an hour.
Quite a while.
So like early times of the elementary, I would literally just not finish my food and just bring it home and eat it again at home because I just take too long to eat. You see, yeah, I would eat and then stay in class late because I was eating so long, and sometimes my at the time we had like a nanny or like someone at our home who like take cares of the children. That person was like sometimes annoyed at me because I was just taking too long to eat at school. Like she had to come early to pick me up, but then I wasn't there at the pickup point, and she had to like wait for a long time until I came down with the teacher. It was a whole thing. But yeah,
that's funny.
That was me in kindergarten. Now we move on to elementary, which was the worst. I mean, maybe not worst. A bad experience, I might say. Because I've had some bad experience, but some good ones as well. But I guess the bad ones are more memorable, I guess. Where, first day at elementary school, I was so confused. Like, Mom, why aren't we going to the same, kindergarten? I was always going for 2 years because, they're in kindergarten for 2 years at least where I live. And then I was so used to going to that kindergarten. It's like my second home, basically, right? Like, if I go there, I feel safe. But then we're in this new building, this new big building. A lot of students, some are very tall. I was like scared. Like, where are you taking me to? No, please bring me back. Bring me back.
I don't want to go.
And yeah, I was like, I don't want to go. Please spare me. And I was okay, sure. My parents had to left. No, I remember crying again because it's a new building, it's a new place. And first grade, there's a lot of stuff you learn. You see, we had English, we had Indonesian, which is 2, already 2 language. We have Mandarin, so that's 3, and then we have math 4. We have social studies 5. We have history 6. We have geography 7. We have sorry, not wait, was it geography? Sorry, no, geography. Geography is later on. Sorry. Okay. So it's after history, we've got social studies, which is basically a combination of geography and social studies. And then we had so that's English, and then we had what's that lesson name? I forgot. Physical activities, so that's 8. We have music, that's 9. We have arts, that's 10. And I think that's about it for elementary school.
We did have art stuff too, I guess, come to think of it. So
yeah, but still, it's like for you, it's like you have like another class that's dedicated to music, right? This is just you have to do music. You have to. At least where I go to. Most like public schools don't have, I think, but where I go, since I go to a private school, because public schools are more for people who actually couldn't pay for education because they're free to go. You don't need to pay anything. So yeah, since at the time my parents could afford, I guess they brought me to a better school, which was the private schools, I guess. So I went there, 10 lessons every day, not every day, sorry, 10 lessons spread out to the 5-day a week. So we would go to school at around 7, I guess. So yeah, we would start school at 7 and finish at 1. So that's around 6 hours of of school. I would go from like 7 in the morning to 1 p.m. in the afternoon. And I had a sibling who went to the same school, right? He was a couple years older than me, and they would go home at around 2 p.m. or maybe even closer to 3 p.m., right? And since I went home at 1 p.m., I would always have to be like picked up first and go home first, right? But and then after I go home, it's boring because there's no one at home. Like my siblings are at school, literally going home later than me.
Yeah.
So I would like wishing like, oh, it would be so cool to go home a bit later. I changed my mind after high school, but at the time I was like, oh, going home late sounds fun. Studying more sounds fun. No, it was not.
So you were a nerd? Oh,
I was a nerd. Yeah, I was like, whoa, studying is cool. Like it's not like I like study. I mean, I like studying, but not like studying at the time.
Yeah. I get what
it was saying. More like I want to go home late so I don't have to be home alone, right? And staying longer at school, you can play with your friends, and we had like a little playground area, with the sand and the slide.
Yeah, we did too.
Bars and that kind of stuff. So while waiting for me to get picked up, we were allowed to play on the playground. So play with your friends, climbing up the monkey bars where you weren't supposed to climb, and then falling down, injuring your knee or whatever. It was a whole thing. And I remember distinctly that I had such bad handwriting, right? Because apparently when I was I was told this by my parents, but apparently when I was where you as a baby you used to crawl and then you can finally learn to walk and stuff like that, apparently I was able to walk faster, like a lot faster than most babies, right?
And speed running.
My parents thought my parents thought it was a good thing. But apparently when I was bigger and brought to the doctor again, apparently walking faster means my hand wasn't strong enough to ride for longer periods, all that jibbity jabbity, a lot of stuff that was basically a setback if the baby can walk faster than more longer periods of just crawling. So I had bad handwriting, so I couldn't write very long, and I was embarrassed to say this, but I had to go to a writing support. So we had this additional classes apart from the main school classes from 7 to 1. You can go to this additional one for another hour. Most people go to this math support, right? Supporting math. And I had to say that I had to go to a writing support. It was humiliating. But I had bad handwriting. So bad, the teacher couldn't read what I was trying to explain or write in an assignment. So that was bad.
Yeah,
so I had to go to this writing support.
Yeah, I just have bad handwriting.
It didn't help.
I still had bad handwriting.
Yeah, my handwriting's
really
pretty bad.
Handwriting. Some of my friends have there's a stereotype that girls have better handwriting, but I have one guy friend who writes very nice, and I was like, how did you do that? That's magical.
What is this witchcraft?
What is this witchcraft? Yeah, I agree. I was about to say that. That was basically elementary school grade 1, and then grade 2 you get upgraded. You see. You moved to another class, which was deeper in the school. So I thought that was cooler, I guess. And our school was this rectangle shape, and with an inner rectangle of the the field, the badminton, basketball field, I guess. And,
you have a badminton field? That's cool.
Yeah, it's like an optional badminton field. They can set it up, but it's not always on there. It's only if the PE teacher requires it.
Yeah, we just had grass.
That sounds that still sounds nicer than our concrete field that if you fall you just instantly injure yourself.
We did get basketball hoops later on though, so that's nice.
Yeah, we already had basketball. I mean, the private school was pretty new. I guess that's why my parents chose it because it was, on the low end in terms of prices. But it's still better than in terms of public school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so bada bing, bada boom. Grade 2, moved to another class. I remember my teacher. I don't remember my teacher in grade 1, but I remember my teacher in grade 2. She was strict but very kind. I really liked that teacher, and she was very supportive, but sometimes angry at me because I kept playing with my stationaries. I remember this because I kept playing with my stationaries until I was in middle school. No joke. Middle school. I was still playing with my stationaries. And I had all this like plot and universe built into it. Like, it was so cool at the time. Like, I'm thinking back now. It's still cool. Like, how did I came up with that? Like, I had this whole plot, this whole origin story of the characters. Like, I had the main character of a pencil, and the like side character of him was like the eraser, and they had like this adventures plan to like save the world, blah blah blah. It was actually insane. I was like, how did I came up with this as a kid? It was crazy.
Confirmed Mythic publishing a book.
Yeah, and then I had in this universe I was building, I had like dragons, and I was like this weird creatures that I called Cluck Cluck at the time, which until now I don't know why I called them that, but okay, it was named that at the time. It was like, since I was playing with stationery, I was also playing with my hands as the side characters, I guess. This might be another time, because this story of the universe I built, I can literally talk for an hour about this, because
I mean, you made an entire universe.
Finished universe. Yeah, entire. It was insane. It was actually insane. Okay, I can talk about that later. Anyway, grade 2, right? Elementary. We learned basically the same lessons, but harder, and we started learning like past tense, in terms of like English, and then the Indonesian was a bit harder as well, because mostly in Indonesian we started to learn like how to write in like a calligraphy way. Do you know that?
Yeah, calligraphy.
Like the connecting letters and stuff like that. We started to learn that,
Cursive.
which I don't remember till now, like how to do that, but some people do. Like, why?
Yeah, I don't remember how to write like that either, but we also learned it in elementary school.
Yeah. Like, what was the point of that? Why do we have to learn? Okay, anyways, we learned that. And I remember I keep getting bad grades on the connecting letters, because I keep forgetting, like, do I connect this on the top? Do I connect it at the bottom? Like, what is an L and an H? What's the difference in the connecting words? They look very much identical and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was a whole thing. And history was boring, because we basically in history class, right? We learned the same history classes every year. It's like your Spanish stuff, but it's history. And
interesting.
it's the same thing, but they add more stuff for you to like memorize and stuff for that. For example, because we learn our history, we don't learn American history. Of course, we learn our own like Indonesian history.
Yeah. Hey, today we're going to talk about Americans' history again.
It's like we're talking about kingdoms of like at the old age, and we're talking about the independent stuff. But like for this, for example, we learned about 10 points of information, and then on grade 2 we learned like 14 points of the same information, but with the added 4, like that.
All right.
And
yeah, we learned the same stuff multiple times, but they also built on it, but we also varied it a bit. So independence, or the Revolutionary War, I've learned like 3 separate times at least, probably. But each one more and more detailed.
Yeah, same like that. So every time we learn the same thing again, it's like even more detailed version of the last one.
Yeah.
Which I believe I can speak for all Indonesians here. We all hate learning kingdoms, right? Come on, please leave a like if you hate kingdoms. It was
Imagine
a whole
having
jabbity of just a mesh of the stuff in the
Yeah.
kingdoms topic. It was so annoying. Like, oh, we have to learn kingdoms again. Next month's gonna
Is
be a suffering. No.
is kingdoms
It
like
was like,
learning about like before United Indonesia, like learning about all the little
yeah, like
nations?
pre 1800s, 1700s time of Indonesian, like where it's still
That would
split
be
into like
cool.
hundreds of kingdoms, like
Yeah,
small ones and big ones.
the American education system doesn't learn about the Native American tribes essentially at all, um,
Oh,
which is
that's
interesting.
sad.
Yeah, it's not great. I
Very
mean, I
sad.
think I could name like two, maybe three tribes, which is definitely not a good thing.
Not
Uh,
representing of all the tribes that existed at the time.
yeah,
Yeah, we don't learn about just the stuff in our the nearest the near and the Independence Day. We
yeah,
also learn about the stuff like predates even like the first actually
yeah.
intelligent. Not I'm not saying that old people are dumb, but like the actual like high studied
Modern civilization.
individuals at the time. Yeah.
Yeah. What we learn before U.S. history, we learn about European history mostly, and like British history. Essentially, if it has to do with
Okay.
the origin of the United States or an event that leads to the origin somehow, uh, then I guess we learned that.
I
We didn't
see. I
learn much
see.
about
Um.
Africa or South America or Asia.
Okay. Okay. Okay, do you want to speak about third grade to sixth grade, or should I go first? I think you should go. I've been talking long enough.
Third grade to sixth. Is that what you said?
Third grade to sixth grade, and
All
then
right.
my turn, and then so on.
So third to sixth was a lot like the first grades, except we learned more complicated stuff. Um, in sixth grade, music class was expanded into band and choir and
Yo.
orchestra. And I was in band,
Oh,
so I played the trumpet, and it was required to pick one of the three. So I picked the cool one,
I
and it
see. I
was the
see.
cool one, obviously. Um, and so yeah,
Obviously, clearly.
that's how I played the trumpet. I can't play it anymore,
Mm-hmm.
but I can play the piano, so that's fine. Um,
Nice. That's about it
let's see.
in terms of third to sixth grade.
Well, for music, yeah. During
Any
that
interesting stuff
time,
happen in terms? Oh yeah.
so my school wasn't like fully built until after I left, actually. So kindergarten,
Ah,
we were. All I remember is it was like red buildings that looked kind of like a barn. It wasn't a barn, but it reminded me as a child of a barn. Um,
okay.
and then the next year they had moved locations. They had gotten new land, and they had these portable, essentially metal cubes that we lived in. We called them the portables. Um,
Okay.
it's about the same shape as the backs or of semi trucks, like the trailers.
Yep, I know, I know.
Not quite as long though. And they were furbished inside for a furnished inside for a classroom. And
Furbished, okay.
so during fifth and sixth grade, they actually constructed a permanent building. Uh, and that's when they added the like
Ooh.
courts, like the basketball courts. We had some Foursquare courts painted on the ground. So Foursquare was all the
Uh-huh.
rage. I don't think I ever played basketball at school, come to think of it, but we did play Foursquare all the time.
Okay.
Good old Foursquare.
That's good old holds. Four square was it?
Foursquare, yeah. Do you know how to play
Four square.
Foursquare?
Nope.
So essentially, there's a 2x2 grid of squares on the ground. They're big squares, maybe like 2 meters wide, each
Mm-hmm,
square.
mm-hmm.
Um, and there would be a cycle. So one square is what we call the king square. And essentially every round, the king starts with the ball. And it's like one of those rubber bouncy dodgeballs that makes a fun sound when you smack it.
Yeah, I know, I know.
And you start in the corner and then you pass it. You have to bounce it in your square once, I think. No. No, you bounce it in someone else's square. Um, and if it bounces twice in your square, then you're out. If it bounces in your square and then goes out, then you're out, like out of the big square. Or if you knock it out of the
Ah,
square, then you're out. And so essentially, you're trying to keep it out of your square, uh, and try to get other people out. And then once you go out, you go back in line,
ah,
and everyone else fills
I
in
see.
your spot. Yeah, it's a fun game. And then we had like these power ups, like the what was it? Cherry bomb.
Power ups.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
house rules, and everyone argued over them. But like cherry bomb, where you would take it with two hands, take the ball, jump up, and slam it on the ground as hard as you could, so it would bounce super high in the air. Probably only went like 6 feet into the air, but we were short, so it was awesome. And then there was
Yep,
like
yep, yep.
snake eyes, where you look like you're gonna pass it to someone, but you pass it to someone who you're not looking at, and so it surprises them, and things like that. Uh,
Oh, interesting, interesting.
yeah.
All right. In terms of okay, do you have any more stories to tell, or should I just go?
Well, let's see. Education wise, okay, sixth grade. This will be the last thing before I let you go. Sixth grade, we got our first lockers, and I was super excited, and I
Whoa,
used them,
whoa.
and I've never used lockers since.
That's hilarious. Okay.
So yeah, that's a fun
Why?
little thing. Because we were allowed to bring our backpacks into class, so everything I had was in my backpack. So there's literally no reason to go to my locker.
True. Very true. All right. Okay. In terms, okay, when I was in third grade,
Yeah.
I distinctly remember such a good memory in third grade. I had such a good homeroom teacher. She was an English teacher, but she also was English. She was a very good homeroom teacher, I would say.
Oh, of
One of the
course.
best, homeroom teacher that I've ever been taught with, or
Oh,
you know
sweet.
have an acquaintance of. And I don't remember her name now because it's been so long. But
Yeah.
at the time, I remember I really enjoy being with the teacher. Hopefully, I can next year maybe I can get the same homeroom teacher. Well, that didn't happen. But also at the time, we were receiving new teachers in the school, right?
Of course.
And they were foreigners actually. So
Oh,
three teachers came from Philippines, and one teacher
okay.
came from America, the
Oh,
glorious country America. Yes, that is true.
it is my
Um,
personal favorite country to live in.
yeah, I mean you're totally biased, but okay.
Yeah, that is completely true.
This teacher, this teacher was a guy, and he was a big boy. He was a very very strong looking man, and he was
Uh,
our since our English teacher was our homeroom teacher as well, and she was also technically handling homeroom for the next class. Sometimes he
mhm.
would be taught by this new teacher, the American guy, and
Yeah.
it was very interesting for us at the time because we had never encountered with an actual foreigner, right? So I was like,
Yeah.
whoa, this man's cool.
Whoa.
Packed to the he's packed with big muscles. Yo, this is cool.
It's the muscle
Um,
guy, the
and
American.
remember, I remember, whoa, why is yo, you're so white and so tall, so your nose is very long. It was very
Wait, what? Nose is
it's like
very
getting to
long?
know each other, but yeah, most American have a big nose. You see,
Okay.
most of us Asians have these squished nose. So at the time I was like, whoa, that's a
Okay.
different nose. What? That's amazing.
His nose is so massive.
I know. It's like whoa, and it's when when we were the teacher introduces himself and blah blah blah.
Mhm.
It was more of instead of just a class introducing each other, it's more of us surrounding the teacher and absolutely, yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Ganging up on him,
that's funny.
whoa, this is a new guy, blah blah blah. It's kind of cool. And I remember he taught us a game. It was like musical chairs, but not really. It's called Fruit Basket. I don't know if you played a bit before, but
Fruit Basket? I have not heard of Fruit Basket. I've heard of a Fruit Basket, but not the game.
I don't know this man. I don't know if this man created this game out of thin air, but it was a pretty fun game.
He might have.
He might have invented it, but yeah, Fruit Basket. So we every time it's his class, we always play Fruit Basket. And I was always so excited for English. Like, when is English? Oh, on Friday. Oh, it's gonna be exciting on Friday. Yo, it's like it's such an exciting excitement for school for some reason. Just for English though. I was like, okay, Friday we have Fruit Baskets again. Yeah, it's like Fruit Baskets. Like basically we push all the desks to the edge of the class, and then we make a round circle out of the chairs, and the teacher would say. The teacher would pick one person to start the game off it. I forgot to be exact how you play the game, but one student would say one word, and he or she would have to pick another person, and that person has to I forgot, either continue the sentence or something with the word. And if they can't do it, then someone calls, or that person, if the person that pointed the other person, if they can't answer, she or he calls Fruit Basket, which means everyone switch their seats, but one seat is taken out. So one person will be eliminated. You see, I forgot exactly how it works, but at the time I remember that was being the most fun of my life.
That sounds like a fun game.
In terms of elementary school, and then came the deadly fourth grade.
Oh no!
Fourth grade. No, fourth grade was horrible. I got the killer homeroom. You see, the teacher was had temper issues. Was very, 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 very mad most of the time. When she was kind, she was very, very kind. And when she's normal or just angry, it's like the end of the world, my friend. It's very scary. I remember. So about the bad handwriting in the first grade. Remember that? It came back here. I remember we had an assignment, right? It was we need to borrow some books from the library to write an essay about said book, and we had this policy at the time. So you can go to library anytime, and you can borrow 2 books maximum per week. And before you can borrow any more books, you must return those 2 books, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of great, amazing books in there. That's why I always borrow 2 books at a time and just read them at home. But I forgot that we had that assignment. It was announced a week before. Please do not borrow any books, so we can borrow the books for the assignment, right? I forgot. I forgot about what book, but I borrowed 2 books, or my book slot is it's gone, right? I couldn't borrow any more books. And at that D-Day, I was like, oh no, what am I supposed to do, right? Because you aren't allowed to borrow a friend's card to borrow a book. You have to use your own student card to borrow the book. Just it's input it to the school data and all that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I went. We were given 20 minutes to go to the library, pick a book, borrow it, and bring it back to the class. I was the last student in the library because I had to read it there. Right? I couldn't bring it out of the library, so I had to speed run, read a book. People had 20 minutes to look for a book. I had 1 minute to look for a book, pick one, and read that for the 19 minutes. Woo!
That sounds fun.
Really fun. I just speed ran to the book. I read the summary, and then I speed ran to most of the book. Okay, so it's about this. It's technically about this. Okay. And 20 minutes is up. We need to go out. I went out without a book. The others had books on them. And I was like, okay, hopefully the teacher does not notice I don't have a book. And, we entered the class. You were given an A4 paper, a whole blank paper. You have to fill it up from top to bottom, front and back. Sorry, just the front. Top to bottom with the essay about said book we have borrowed. And I was like, I did not expect this was going to be this much words. Am I going to fill it up? What am I supposed to do? So I was like, okay, guess I'll just mix things up along the way. So I'm just going to write it out. And, the teacher was at the time sitting at her desk, just, waiting for us to finish. And around halfway through, she patrols on the class, checking on the students' progress and all that, and she saw my paper, and I was like, oh no.
Uh-oh.
She was like, where is your book? And I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't have a book. I already announced to not borrow any books. Like, I'm sorry, I forgot. And she looked at my paper. Okay, at least let me see your paper. And she pulls out my paper, looks for 2 seconds, rips it in half, crumples it in her hand, threw it in the trash bin in front of me, and I was literally silent at that time. The class was silent. Everyone looked at like my vicinity and knew what was going on. I was like,
oh no!
It was so traumatic, and she just slammed a new paper on me on the desk I was sitting on, and she told me, "Okay, I will give you like I forgot how many minutes it was because like the library was quite far from our classroom, right?" And she gave me like some certain amount of time that I had to go to the library, apologize to the librarian, and say that the teacher needs the book that I was going to borrow, and then come back, rewrite the whole essay with good handwriting. I
not
don't
the good
have
handwriting.
Good handwriting.
Me neither.
So, to be honest, it's probably for the best of my own mental health, but I don't remember what happened after that. I just know that I finally graduated fourth grade and went to 5th grade.
Yeah.
Woo, that was stressful.
It's an exciting story.
It was, yeah. I guess the one positive of that teacher was she allowed toys in the classroom when we were 4th grade. Like past 2nd grade, you aren't allowed to have any toys in the classroom.
Yeah.
Sorry, past 1st grade. Past 1st grade, you aren't allowed to have any toys in the classroom. So 2nd and 3rd grade, we don't have any toys. But 3rd grade was fun. We had that cool teacher who went out the next year, so that was okay. Yeah, 4th grade, we had toys. Like we could play bowling. Oh, another story. Okay, I remember this one. The teacher, this killer teacher, made us make like a project, right? We were making like a wall posters, It was shaped like a house, but then it had like empty squares in the middle of it. Like there was like at least 100 empty squares, and every day if we get a good score above 80, we can sign one square with our like either signature, or we can like we are allowed to bring stickers, like place one stickers on there, and the teacher assigned one student to like keep track of everyone's score so no one cheats,
makes sense.
And makes sense. And we would use that points to basically play, right? Because she remember when I said when she's kind, she's very kind. She also bought snacks with her own money, not school's money.
Nice.
In terms of like chips, chicken, stuff like that, and puts it in the class, but that you can spend your points that you have collected on the board, to like buy those snacks technically, and like redeeming points, right? So, I worked hard, studied hard to collect those points, because if you reach 40 points, you can spend all 40 at once just play with the toys at the classroom that she prepared during lunch break and breakfast break, right? And I remember how I was a slow eater.
Yeah.
I learned, and I forced myself to learn how to eat fast because I wanted to play. On 4th grade, that's how it happened. It came to be to this point. Yeah, I was super motivated to I want to spend my points, I want to play, blah blah blah, and blah blah blah. And then I remember one day I made a mistake. I don't remember what mistake, but it was a pretty horrible mistake because it was. No. I don't remember the mistake itself, but the punishment was etched to my mind. I was at 39 points. You see, just one more point, and I can finally spend all my points and play every time it's lunch break. And I did this, mistake, which I honestly can't remember what I did, but someone reported that I did this mistake and to her, and she called me to her table. I was like, did you do this? I'm like, I was like, yes. And then she stood up, went to my poster, rips it in half, crumbles it on her hand, throws it in the bin, asks me to make a new one and restart from zero.
She likes ripping things in half and crumpling them up, doesn't she?
That's like her signature. My friend cheated on points, right?
No.
Ripped in half, gone. And then my other friend, was heard saying bad things about the teacher and was reported.
Oh, no.
Also had his poster ripped in half in the trash instantly. So, it was interesting.
I don't think I've ever had anything of mine ripped in half at school.
Yeah, it was.
Well, unless I ripped it in half.
It was pretty traumatic, to be honest. And yeah, that was 4th grade. That's why I learned how to write good on 4th grade. But after 4th grade, when I was in 5th grade, I have bad handwriting again. It was just like temporary. And then I also learned how to eat fast from then to till this day, which I was sort of grateful for because I was motivated to play during breaks, so I just went with it. And then on what's it called, 5th grade, I joined what's called a math support because I was bad at math.
Oh,
but
no.
Here's the thing. The math teacher was actually pretty fun. He was the guy from Philippines. He was. I remember his teaching. Ways are fun, and I remember enjoying myself. Like, even though it's a math support technically for the failing students, I literally had a lot of fun in there. And all in all, 5th grade is fun. I love 5th grade.
All right.
Move on to
6th grade.
6th grade. I'm not quite sure what happened at 6th grade. It's a blur, but I'm pretty sure it was, a lot of fun mostly. And, some drama happened here and there. But, 6th grade is pretty much boring. Apart from the fact that, we switched, like, our seating positions every time, right? At least education systems where I live, it's like on elementary, you stay in one class and then the teacher of the subject comes to your class and teaches and comes out, and then you have a break, and then the next teacher comes in, blah blah blah, like that, right? And every month we would like switch seats, so it was like gonna be rolled again randomly, like who was gonna sit where, and I managed to always pick the same seat. I remember it was at the front of the class. I know it's not like most people would like to sit at the back of the class, but I was sitting at the front of the class, the most left. Like when I was elementary, I was determined to learn. Not so much in high school, but when I was really enthusiastic to learn. I sat at the front at the most left chair near the window. I remember, and I broke my chair.
You broke
on purpose.
Oh, on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
How did you break your chair?
Yeah. I was a rascal. You see, the chairs was like these plastic chairs, but with metal. What's it called? Metal legs and
plastic school chair.
It was attached with like these 4 bolts on each side, right? 4 bolts. Yeah. And I would like, since it's boring in class sometimes, you're like, fiddling around, and I managed to somehow pull the bolt out. Out of one of the 4 bolts out, and the chair was a bit like the rocking chair. It's like going back and forth.
Yeah.
So I decided to make it more fun. So I pulled the other bolt out so I can go even further in terms of rocking back and forth, and then I pulled out the 3rd one, and it was even more rocking back and forth. And the last one, I could technically pull it out as well. Like I discovered how to pull it out like effectively after the 2nd one. But I didn't pull it out just in case the teacher wants to move the chair, and suddenly the top comes off. That's not fun, right? So I was keeping on
no,
the
definitely
fourth
not.
one. But sometimes I pull it off and then just switch the whole thing. So the lean back side of the chair is for the one for the sitting, and the sitting is for the lean back. For some reason, I find that amusing at the time. And yep, that's pretty much 6th grade.
Well, I think that's a good point to
true.
wrap up this episode. Since it's been going a bit longer than our first episode, we'll probably do part 2. But thank you guys so much for listening. Don't forget to subscribe if you're watching on our YouTube channel, or to follow or whatever it is. Subscribe, follow,
on Spotify,
share,
Google Podcasts,
all those. Yeah.
Make sure to check out Squidney's channel on YouTube,
Yes.
or my channel, Mythic Magician, on YouTube.
Of course.
And don't forget to bring your passports. And you're not gonna say anything?
I thought you were gonna say something. Well, don't forget to grab your passports before you head out, and you guys have a wonderful day or night or whatever, wherever it is you are. Have fun. Stick around for the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.